Good afternoon. I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday, November 12th. Corpus Christi City Council members met yesterday, and the item to start the agenda touched on water supplies for the city and surrounding areas.
Yesterday, we asked the National Weather Service how long has the drought been happening here, and believe it or not, it's been 4.5 years. So in the spring of 2021, that was the last significant rain event. And that's 4.5 years ago. So this drought is crippling and long enduring. It probably will be the drought of record, but they don't tell you that until the drought's over.
That was City Manager Peter Zanoni speaking to members of council and the community yesterday. For weeks, council members and Corpus Christi Water representatives have visited as far as Falfurrias to engage communities about various projects, as well as the possibility of a level 1 water emergency for the city in fall of 2026.
I want to just highlight that we have been and will continue to be for these next several weeks in the community as we work on 2 groundwater projects that are very important to sustaining our water supplies and making sure we don't get into curtailment a year from now. And so that includes engaging ranchers and farmers and persons living in rural Nueces County when it comes to our groundwater projects there. We know we have 2 well fields, as we call them, one known as the Eastern Well Field on County Road 73, and then the Western Well Field on County Road 666 up in Blunser. And so to make sure that the community knows what we're doing, we have scheduled and we're out and about engaging the community, whether it's literally on the ranch land and some of the barns up there or at the fairgrounds coming up soon in San Patricio County.
Council members will meet with Rockport City Council today in Aransas County, then Aransas Pass City Council on Monday, Sinton City Council next Tuesday, and attend a Lavaca Navidad board meeting in Edna a week from today.
Rockport will be important because that city council and community indirectly gets water from us through the San Pat Water District, and they're just as concerned as anybody in this coastal bend region that we serve.
Corpus Christi Water Interim COO Nick Winkleman presented updates on several projects, including the Nueces River groundwater wells, the Evangeline Laguna groundwater project, and a well field monitoring program for area well owners.
Important part of these projects is being a good neighbor. So one thing that has come up and we've talked a lot about is working with area well owners to help understand the operation of their wells and if their wells are seeing any impact from our well field operations. The Western well field, there are no wells pumping right now. The Eastern well field is online. We've reached out, we talked to individuals whenever we could, and we've said that we would help them monitor the water levels in their well, help them record them, show them how to do that. And we've also said that we would take water quality samples so that they understand the quality of the groundwater that they're using at their house, and we would provide that information to them as well.
Corpus Christi Water is currently working with 7 well owners on that monitoring program initiative. For more information about the program, you can contact Corpus Christi Water at 361-826-1600. Discussions regarding the $1.2 billion Inner Harbor Desalination Plant project will be on the City Council agenda next Tuesday, November 18th. In regard to current water supplies for the city, Lake Corpus Christi is at 12.2% capacity as of today. Choke Canyon Reservoir is at 10.4%. In the Rio Grande Valley yesterday, an Edinburgh educational professional announced that she is running for Texas House District 40. Angela Churchill said she is running as a Republican with 25 years of experience in the educational field. Churchill came to the Rio Grande Valley as a young girl and grew up in Port Isabel. She said she lived most of her life in Sullivan City and La Jolla. Churchill also is fluent in Spanish thanks to spending 4 years in Monterrey. She said that, quote, educators deal directly with America's biggest issues, students learning English as a second language, children without health care, families facing hunger or addiction, and classrooms stretched thin by budget cuts, end quote. Churchill said the core of America's problems can be found in schools, which is where solutions must begin. Current Representative Terry Canales, who has served in the House since 2013, has already announced his bid for re-election next year. In state news, the bill that the Senate passed Monday to reopen the federal government contains a provision that would outlaw the sale of intoxicating hemp products in Texas and across the nation. Texas Public Radio's David Martin Davies has more.
If the appropriations bill to fund the U.S. government is passed by Congress as is and is signed by President Trump, then virtually all THC products in the nation will be illegal, but states that have legalized marijuana would be unaffected. According to the Texas Hemp Business Council, this new ban would have sweeping consequences, including farmers will lose critical markets, small businesses would be forced to close, consumers and veterans would turn to illegal markets, and more than 300,000 people will lose their jobs. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick applauded the federal ban, posting on social media, "I believe this ban will save a generation from getting hooked on dangerous drugs." I'm David Martin Davies in San Antonio.
Yesterday, many armed forces veterans across the country were honored and remembered for Veterans Day, and they were also honored across South Texas as well. The USS Lexington recognized the day in veterans with its annual Salute to Veterans ceremony. Hundreds of people were in attendance in the ship's Hangar Bay 2. The ceremony included the laying of a wreath in Corpus Christi Bay to pay tribute to the service and sacrifice of veterans. In Victoria, local veterans and their families joined with the Warriors Weekend Field of Honor organization to properly retire American flags being decommissioned on Veterans Day. In the Rio Grande Valley, many ceremonies, including a Harlingen ceremony that honored 62 veterans from the Rio Grande Valley with a ceremonial pin honoring their service. And those were just some of the many ways that our region paid thanks to the brave men and women for their service in our freedom. We now go on to sports and college basketball. On their third stop of a four-game road stretch, Texas A&M Corpus Christi faced its toughest test yet, falling 77-46 to number 25 ranked Kansas. The Islanders, now 1-2, forced 18 turnovers and scored 32 points in the paint, but the Jayhawks shot 54% from the field while limiting TAMU-CC to 32.2% overall and just 7.1% from three-point range. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.